Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful new way that professionals can use AI. We're talking about using tools like ChatGPT or Claude for those initial legal checks that pop up in our everyday work. Let's see how you can do it safely and effectively.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever been handed a contract or some internal policy and it's just pages of dense legal language? You know that feeling where your eyes just start to glaze over and you wish you had someone who could just give you the main points? Yeah, it's a feeling most of us know well.
Well, what if you did? That's really where AI is starting to change the game. You can think of it as this incredibly smart assistant that's right at your fingertips, ready to help you cut through the confusion and get that crucial first pass understanding. It's all about getting a basic handle on things before you decide what to do next. Okay, now before we go a single step further, we have to talk about the single most important rule. And I really need you to hear this loud and clear. An AI is an assistant. It is not a lawyer. It's a fantastic tool for getting a first look, for preliminary checks, for understanding the basics. But for anything that's complex, high stakes, or needs actual legal advice, you absolutely must talk to a real human lawyer. This is non-negotiable. So, with that critical safety rule firmly in mind, let's start exploring. How can this tool actually work for you as a first step legal assistant in a practical, day to day way? I think the best way to understand this is to just see it in action. So, we're going to walk through four really common office scenarios together. This will give you a super clear idea of both the power of this tool and its limits. All right, situation number one. This is something almost every single one of us has to deal with at some point. You get a new job offer, and it comes with a new employment contract. It's exciting for sure, but that document can also be a little bit intimidating. So, how can AI help you here? It all comes down to giving it a super specific prompt, just like the one you see here. Notice how it clearly states the country, Vietnam, and then asks three very targeted questions. You're not just saying, hey, is this okay? You're asking about risks, legal compliance, and things you need to clarify. That's what gets you a useful response. Then you just paste the text of the contract right below it. And what you might get back is incredibly helpful. The AI could act like a second pair of eyes, flagging a probation period that seems a little too long, or pointing out a penalty clause that seems unfair. It might even notice that a mandatory benefit, something you're entitled to by law, is missing. The main takeaway here is that the AI doesn't give you the final answer. What it does is give you a smart, focused list of questions to take to HR or to a lawyer. Okay, let's move on to our second scenario. This is a big one for anyone who's self-employed or works as a freelancer, trying to figure out your tax obligations. It can get confusing fast. And once again, you'll see that a specific prompt is everything. You tell it your profession, your location, and your exact income. Then you ask direct, clear questions. Do I have to register? What taxes am I on the hook for? And what are the actual steps I need to take? Giving it this level of detail is what makes the response so much more relevant to you. The answer you get back could be a fantastic roadmap. It could explain key financial thresholds, like that 100 million VND per year rule in Vietnam. It can help clarify which specific taxes you're likely responsible for. And maybe most importantly, it can often provide you with direct links to the official government websites so you can go and verify the information for yourself. All right, let's step it up a bit with a more challenging situation, a small commercial dispute. Let's say a client owes you money, they're late on the payment, and you're just not sure what your first professional move should be. With this prompt, you're laying out all the facts nice and clearly, the amount, how late it is, and a specific detail from the contract. And your questions are all about action. What are my rights here? What's the standard process? And can you help me write that first important piece of communication? For this kind of thing, the AI can be an amazing starting point. It can confirm your right to claim that penalty based on the contract you mentioned. It can give you a professional, well-worded template for a formal warning letter, and it can outline the typical steps you take next. It really empowers you to handle the situation calmly and professionally from the get-go. For our final example, we're going to look at something that can feel pretty big and complex: internal compliance. Imagine your company has international customers, and you need to get a handle on regulations like GDPR. A prompt like this is perfect for getting a high-level overview of a huge topic. You establish the context, a Vietnamese company with European Union customers, and you ask those big, fundamental questions about whether the rules apply, what you need to do, and what the risks are. What you'll probably get back is basically a checklist of the key GDPR concepts you need to know about. It can highlight things like why user consent is so important, what your cookie policy needs to include, and explain core principles like the right to be forgotten. This is a fantastic way to create a first draft agenda for a meeting with your actual legal team. So, we've just seen 4 pretty powerful examples of how this can work. But, like with any powerful tool, you have to know the rules to use it safely and effectively. So, let's quickly cover the 4 golden rules for using your new AI assistant. First, always be specific. Give it the country, your industry, and any real numbers you have. Second, and this is a big one, always double check the information against official sources. Always. Third, just remember that laws are constantly changing and the AI's data might not be perfectly up to date. And finally, number 4, watch for red flags. If the AI itself tells you that a matter is complex or requires a legal professional, listen to it. That's your signal to stop and call a lawyer. And that last rule brings us to our final and maybe most important point. You have to know the clear boundaries. You have to recognize without any doubt when it's time to hand the issue over to a professional lawyer. This table makes it super simple. There is no gray area here. If your situation involves a large amount of money, a complex dispute that might end up in court, or anything to do with specialized fields like criminal, property, or family law, the answer is always the same. You hire a lawyer, period. Do not use an AI for these matters. So, if you're ready to start exploring this for your own preliminary checks, here are a few tools that you can check out to get started. Your general tools like ChatGPT and Claude are great for the kinds of prompts we just talked about. Then there are specialized professional-grade tools like Harvey AI, which is a paid service really meant for legal pros. And you can also find region-specific tools like LawPale VN, which is built specifically for searching Vietnamese laws. So now I'll turn it over to you. Thinking about your own work, what's the first small, low-stakes task you could see yourself trying with an AI assistant? Using this tool wisely can really empower you to be more informed and better prepared, as long as you always remember its true role. It's your assistant, not your attorney.